solar power generation, and local manufacturing of energy components. Vice President Kashim Shettima, speaking at the Renewable Energy Innovation Forum in Abuja, described the energy transition as a $410 billion opportunity by 2060. He urged private investors and state government to drive green industrial growth, while Power Minister Adebayo Adelabu revealed that power generation is risen to 4,000 to 5,300 megawatts in 2 years. The REA Managing Director, Abba Aliu, disclosed the state's allocations Ogun to be 1,100 megawatts, Lagos 150 megawatts, Akwa Ibom 100 megawatts, Kano 1,100 megawatts, and the FCT 500 megawatts, stressing that the focus is now on local content technology transfer and also job creation. The deal, facilitated through the Rural Electrification Agency, covers Bayelsa, Ogun, Lagos, Akwa Ibom, Kano, and the Federal Capital Territory. With a combined target of nearly 4,000 megawatts of clean energy capacity, the initiative tagged the Nigerian First policy is expected to expand access to affordable power and position Nigeria as West African renewable energy hub. Alarmed by the surge in fire disasters across Nigerian major cities, the federal government had launched a special nationwide audit of public and private buildings to ensure strict compliance with fire safety regulations. Adeyemi warned that the frequency of such incidents has reached alarming levels, stressing that fire safety is now a choice but a shared responsibility. The task force, chaired by Assistant Controller General Tajuddin Mohammed, will begin immediate mapping of public buildings, classify them by risk levels, and inspect compliance nationwide. Adeyemi urged building owners and facility managers to cooperate fully, adding that enforcement of safety standards will now be non-negotiable. He reaffirmed the government commitment to protecting lives, properties, and critical infrastructure through prevention and strict adherence to fire safety codes. The Controller General of the Federal Fire Service, Olamide Adeyemi Samuel, inaugurated the Special Task Force in Abuja on Tuesday, saying the move followed strategies, including the Afriland Tower fire in Lagos and repeated plaza infernos in the Capital Territory. With the audits now underway, authorities said the photos will face sanctions if Nigeria step up its war against preventable fire disaster. Away from that, the federal government has announced a major change to university and polytechnic entry rules. Mathematics will no longer be a compulsory subject for students seeking admission into arts and humanities program. In a statement by Minister spokesperson Folashade Boriwo, the new rule applies across universities, polytechnics, College of Education, and Innovation Enterprise institutions. For the College of Education, the new benchmark sets a minimum of 4 credit courses, with English language compulsory for arts and social sciences, while mathematics remain required only for science and technical programs. Education Minister Dr. Tujin Aluasa said the reform is a deliberate step to widen access and boost annual admission from about 700,000 to 1 million students. An education analyst, Ayo Damilola, also described the move as a brilliant reform that will open more doors for prospective students in arts and humanity. According to the Federal Ministry of Education, the decision is part of the newly revised National Guideline for Entry Requirements into Nigerian tertiary institutions, destined to remove barriers and expand access while maintaining standard. With the new policy, thousands of students who were previously denied admission over mathematics credits can now pursue their dreams, a shift many say is long overdue in the Nigeria education system. The Nigerian Senate has expressed alarm over reports of human trafficking and persistent human rights abuse suffered by Nigerians in Libya. During plenary, senators debated a motion sponsored by Senator Adenike Bassi, seeking urgent intervention to curb trafficking and exploitation of Nigerian migrants. The Senate urged the federal government to strengthen repatriation efforts, review border control system, and also clamp down on unlicensed travel agents fueling irregular migration. A joint probe by the Committee on Diaspora Affairs, Foreign Affairs, Judiciary, and Human Rights are also mandated to work with NATIB and relevant ministries Lawmakers across party lines, including Adams Oshomole, Natasha Uduaga, Victor Ome, and Ned Nwoko, condemned the abuse, describing them as inhumane and unacceptable. The Senate further directed national orientation agents to embark on a nationwide awareness campaign on the dangers of illegal migration and realities of life in conflict zones. Lawmakers are calling for tougher diplomatic and legal actions to rescue and reintegrate citizens trapped in detention camps across the northern African nation. More than 1,000 Nigerians have reportedly been repatriated from Libya this year alone, with survivors recounting stories of forced labor, abuse, and slavery, a grim reminder of the urgent need for stronger protection. Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has explained his absence at the last week Council of State meeting, dismissing media reports linking it to a rift with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Speaking at the commissioning of the Access Road in districts in Abuja, the minister described the rumor as unnecessary propaganda and blackmail, insisting that he remains loyal to the president and focused on delivering projects in the FCC. He said, "I work for Mr. President. His leadership has been driving force behind the achievements we are recording in the country. When you start delivering, the achievement will silence all critics." Report had claimed Wike boycotted the meeting over the appointment of Professor Dasha Ahmed Puton as the INEC chairman, an allegation he flatly denied. Wike added that his administration's ongoing infrastructural drive in the FCT was proof of an alignment to the president's renewed hope agenda. Wike said he had informed the president in advance and directed that the Minister of State, Dr. Maria Mohammed, to represent him while he attended other official engagement. The minister urged Nigerians to, saying his focus remains on service delivery and completing ongoing projects across the nation's capital. We need to go on a break now, but when we come back, more news across Nigeria as well as foreign business and sports.
My name is Desoka, the comedy catalyst of one of Nigerian comedy.
All right, guys, back again. Yes, boss. My name is Osh, baby.
Yemi Alade.
Yeah, what up, people? It's your boy Victor 80.
Girl Niniola.
My name is my wife, not just celebrity type man.
My papa say, who won't carry cow, waka go, waka follow the cow. I know the lie for you.
I see you know you're watching the Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV.
Informative, educative, interesting, entertaining.
Worldwide, international.
Don't go anywhere, I'll catch you.
Don't touch that die. Atlantic TV. Boom.
Atlantic TV. We wanna party.
Atlantic TV. Culturally inclined and uniquely different.
Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV.
Welcome back. Now the rest of the news. Nigeria risks being left behind in the global energy transition if it fails to urgently monetize a vast oil and gas reserve. Our former president of the Nigerian Economic Society, Professor Adeola Adenike, gave the warning Monday in Abuja at the 18th NEEE/NAIE International Energy Conference. At the event themed Emerging Geopolitics of Nigeria, Navigating Global Shift and Impact on Emerging Countries, Professor Adenike described Nigeria's energy landscape as a paradox, a top oil producer where over 87 million citizens still lack electricity access. He called on a balanced strategy, monetizing fossil resources while investing in renewables such as solar, hydro, and wind power. Adenike linked the volatility of the global energy market to geopolitical tensions, the rise of artificial intelligence, and also competition between China and the United States for control over clean energy technology. He noted that new policies like the EU Green Deal and the US Inflation Reduction Act are already reshaping the global energy supply chain, forcing developing nations to make tougher choices on alignment and investment priorities. The economists cautioned that as the world accelerates towards clean energy, demand for crude oil could soon peak, leaving nations like Nigerians with stranded hydrocarbon assets if action isn't taken quickly. Experts at the conference agreed that unless Nigeria acts swiftly to convert its energy potentials into real economic value, the nation could miss out on the next phase of global energy growth. Nigerian agriculture sector is set for a major leap as the European Union and the federal government signed a 320 billion naira credit agreement aimed at expanding access to finance for farmers and agribusiness across the country. The agreement was announced during a bilateral meeting between senior EIB officials and the federal government of Budget and Economic Planning on the sideline of the Global Gateway Forum in Brussels. EIB Director for International Partnership, Tricky, said the initiative is designed to de-risk agricultural lending and strengthen long-term financing capacity in Nigeria. The deal also includes technical assistance from financial institutions to ensure transparency and efficiency. Special Assistant to the Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Bolaji Olalaja, reaffirmed that Tinubu administration commitment to driving agricultural reform through the forthcoming National Development Plan and Forward-Based Development Plan. The EU, through various initiatives, also supported Nigeria's healthcare and pharmaceutical sector with over 68 million euros in grants and credit facilities. The funding provided by the European Investment Bank was channeled through Nigeria's commercial banks and development finance institutions to promote climate-smart agriculture, sustainability, and value chain growth in key commodities like cocoa and dairy products. The Global Gateway Forum serves as EU's flagship investment platform, connecting government, private investors, and financial institutions to drive green growth and economic transformation across developing nations. The late Chief of Armed Staff, Lieutenant General Taruk Lagbaja, has been posthumously inducted into the prestigious International Hall of Fame of the United States Army War College. At the ceremony, the commandant of the U.S. Army War College, Major General Trevor Buckenbank, hailed Lagbaja's exemplary leadership, professionalism, and contributions to global peace and security. The award was received on behalf of the Chief of Armed Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyode, by Major General Adeleke, alongside Mrs. Mariam Lagbaja, widow of the late Armed Chief. Also in attendance were senior military, or rather Nigerian military officials, and representatives from the United States Embassy in Abuja. Reacting to the honor, the Chief of Armed Staff, Lieutenant General Oluyede, described the recognition as a fitting tribute to one of Nigeria's finest officers whose legacy continues to inspire courage, service, and also discipline. An induction held during the opening of the 2025 Association of United States Army Annual Convention in Washington, D.C. marks the first time a Nigerian Army officer had been honored in the institution's 124-year history. The posthumous induction of General Lagbaja into the U.S. Army War College International Hall of Fame is being seen as a milestone achievement for Nigerians' military history. Mali has struck back at Washington's controversial visa bond policy, announcing that American nationals will now be required to pay bonds of up to $10,000 when applying for business or tourist visa. In a statement released in Bamako, Mali's foreign minister condemned the U.S. decision as a unilateral action, breaching a long-standing bilateral agreement on multiple entry visas. The ministry said, in accordance with the principles of reciprocity, Mali will impose identical conditions on U.S. nationals. The visa bond initiative, first introduced under the Trump administration, required travelers to pay refundable deposits ranging from $5,000 to $15,000 as a deterrent against visa overstay. The U.S. Embassy in Bamako has confirmed the new Malian policy, while Washington has yet to issue an official response. Meanwhile, Zambia and Malawi, also affected by similar U.S. measures, have labeled the bond requirement unfair and unnecessary. The Malian government says the move is a direct reciprocal response to the United States' own visa bond program, which target countries with high overstay rates. Now, the new rule takes effect from October 23rd, with Mali retaliatory move, diplomatic observers warn of a potential visa standoff between Bamako and Washington, signaling growing tension over immigration policies. Away from all of that seriousness, let's run to sports. The Super Eagles of Nigeria have reignited their World Cup qualification hope after trashing the Cheetahs of Benin Republic 4-0 in Uyo. It was a blistering start at the Godswill Akpabio Stadium, and Sosime opened scoring in just 3 minutes, finishing off Samuel Chukwueze assist. The Napoli forward struck again in the 38th minute to double the lead and complete his hat-trick early in the second half to send fans into wide celebration. Frank Onyeka came off the bench to add the fourth, rounding off what is easily Nigeria's best performance of the qualifying campaign. Now, despite the emphatic win, the Super Eagles fell short of an automatic World Cup ticket as group leaders South Africa beat Rwanda 3-0 to book their place in the 2026 tournament. Nigeria now awaits the playoff fixtures as coach Finidi George looks to build on the team's newfound rhythm. Star striker Victor Osimhen netted a brilliant hat-trick, while substitute Frank Onyeka sealed the win as Nigerians find or put on a dominant display in front of jubilant home crowd. Osimhen's hat-trick takes his international tally to 25 goals, a performance that could yet prove decisive in Nigerians' road to the 2026 World Cup in the United States, Canada, and also Mexico. Barcelona top striker Robert Lewandowski is facing a race against time to be fit for the season's first El Clasico against Real Madrid. Now, according to reports from BBC Sport, Lewandowski sustained an injury during Poland's 2-0 win over Lithuania in their World Cup qualifying campaign. Barcelona confirmed the forward will be sidelined as he begins recovery, though the club has not specified a timeline. Spanish media suggests he could be out for around 4 weeks, a major setback for Xavi's side as they juggle lead and also Champions League fixture. The veteran joins a growing injury list that includes Rafinha, Gavi, and goalkeeper Marc-Andre. On the bright side, young stars like Lamine Yamal and also Lopez have returned to full training, offering some hopes for the Catalans. The 37-year-old Polish international has picked up a hamstring injury, forcing him out of weekend's La Liga clash with Girona and possibly the blockbuster showdown at the Camp Nou on October 26. Lewandowski has netted 4 goals in 9 appearances this season, and fans will be hoping that the talisman recovers in time to face Real Madrid in what could be a decisive early title test. On that sporting note, we've come to the end of the news. We always implore you to go drop any newsworthy report on our different social media platforms, and we'll be happy to have them. I still remain Michael Gobadia. Bye for now.